All right. Welcome, everybody. I am Pat. I'm here with Ian, of course, of what do we call Russian Machine? Is it Superstar Blog, Blogosphere, Dominator? I don't know
The
what the right
blog that
thing.
the blog where Patrick Holden sometimes writes.
Yes, I think that's how everybody knows it. Russian Machine never breaks. We are recording this also live on YouTube on Friday, March 5th. The Capitals just got clobbered by the Bruins. Tom Wilson did a thing. We'll talk about those things, but honestly, none of that's worth talking about too much. We'll also get into just how the Caps are doing overall since Peter Laviolette took over. But first of all, most importantly, Ian, how's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm juggling running the site kind of full time and writing a lot and being a dad and having a lot of stuff going on around me in the family about COVID-19. My brother is kind of a communications person for a school system. My wife is a teacher, and she recently had to return to school. Oh. We got all 4 of the grandparents vaccinated this week. So that's awesome. It's just been crazy. To give you an example of how weird my week was, last night I fell asleep on the couch at 8 p.m., woke up at 11, watched 6 episodes of The Crown, fell asleep at 5 a.m., and then Ethan woke me up at 7:45, and then once the babysitters got here, I fell asleep again from 9 to 10:30 or so. And it's just weird. Things are weird right now.
And then you cranked out 17 articles, right?
Yes.
Wait, what season of The Crown are you on?
I'm on. Okay, so I only either actually watched the first 2 seasons on Netflix, or Netflix only has season 3 or 4. But I started on season 3, and I'm through season 4, episode 4.
Wait, so. You didn't start with season 1?
It's been a weird year, man.
You don't necessarily have to. It's not a show, I don't think, where you're going to miss a lot of plots. That you can kind of pick it up in the middle, but that's just funny.
It wasn't intentional.
We watched it at some point during the last year.
You know how everyone kind of was talking about how they were watching a ton of TV during the pandemic. I haven't started that until the last week. I don't know why, but I'm doing it right now. I guess I just wrote all the time during the pandemic,
right?
And then was his dad. And now that Ethan's kind of have a stable bedtime, and then Ashley goes to sleep because of school pretty early, I just watch 4 hours of TV now until I fall asleep. So,
well, after you're done with The Crown, we're in the middle of Peaky Blinders right now. I recommend that.
Yeah, the lady from the Queen's Gambit is in that, correct?
Yes, but not until much season 5. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there are 5 seasons. I think season 6 is coming out later this year. I'm in season 5 now. And yes, Queen's Gambit, Anna, I can't remember her name. Yeah, she's in season 5. Not a major character, but she's in it.
She's an amazing actress. Oh,
yeah, she's great. Yeah. All right, so what do you want to talk about first? A terrible game or Tom Wilson? Let's just get both those things out of the way.
Let's go to the full Tom.
All right. Chris from the comments is in with a comment. And Sebastian's here too. All right. So, like I texted you, I don't feel like talking about Tom Wilson too much. My thoughts are generally this. I don't think nobody's objective about their guy on their team who is the guy who makes those kind of plays. Because while Tom Wilson has a history worse than many players in the league in terms of questionable hits, and eventually it became suspensions too. Most teams have a guy who has made a handful of those plays in his career. So as somebody who watches the Caps and grew up rooting for the Caps and still roots for them, I know I'll never be objective. I also, I think he's made a lot of dumb hits in his career, questionable hits, unnecessary hits. Tonight was one of them. I don't think he's therefore the worst person to ever walk the earth, but that's pretty much my Tom Wilson take. Give him 2 games suspension and whatever. Let's get on with our lives.
For me, I love how I know where things are kind of headed. now that I've been doing this for 11 years or 11 seasons. We're getting reports that Carlo had to be taken to the ambulance during the game after the hit, so that's not good. But with Tom, you knew after what happened on Tuesday night, especially for me, when the Capitals picked him to be the representative, the guy that talked to the media today. I mean, clearly they were setting up for some fireworks tonight, and it was kind of fun, but wasn't really. I think the hit, I don't think he's going to get suspended for it, though. The reports of him going to the hospital, Carlo, I mean, that's going to be a humongous deal. But yeah, I mean, he hit him in the shoulder and then followed through, got him in the head. I think the principal point of contact is going to be the thing that saves him here. But it's a malicious hit. You know what I mean? And it came after him hitting Trent Frederick twice, and it looked like he wanted to fight Frederick. To me, the whole thing kind of felt like payback for that. Yeah. So I don't know. It sucks that then the Bruins kind of just destroyed the Capitals after that. It kind of sucked all the wind out of the Capitals for some reason.
Yeah, the second time this season, right, that Wilson's fought somebody, and then the Bruins have gone on a bit of a goal scoring run, right?
Yeah, so that's odd. The thing that it was weird because I made a comment to you. It was like John Carlson started rapping blind clearing passes up the boards right to Bruins players, and then it was just like a fire drill in front of the net.
I don't know what was going on in a couple of those goals. I think the second goal I think was the one maybe that Carlson threw on the boards, but then no, that was like the third or fourth goal. But the second goal was there were some. It was hard to keep track. Was the one where Oshie came back and he had been pissed off for like a couple shifts because I think he'd taken a hit up high, and then he just tries to run Marchand, like coming across the top of the offensive zone, misses him, and then it's like a jailbreak in the bottom half of the Cap zone, like a 3-on-1, and they ended up with that layup goal. And then I think it was the next goal where Carlson threw it around, and then Dylan just decided to leave Marchand standing on the post by himself. Yeah, it was not a lot good from tonight, which was disappointing because I thought last game, as well as like the first 10 minutes of this game, was some of the best hockey they've played under Laviolette. And then all of the sudden, it just fell apart.
Yeah, that's the thing that I worry about with this team is just the consistency, and it I don't know. It's just the team just is really kind of put together a little bit oddly to me. So they've been putting together some good stretches, some good games together here over the last week or two. But I don't know. I'm just not a believer for whatever reason. I guess when Zdeno Chara's getting 20 minutes a night on your team, it's.
I mean, I think in the end, it's going to come down to what can the star players do, and specifically, I think that comes down to what version of Kuznetsov do you get most of the season, and also at what point does Ovi start looking a little bit like he's 35, right? I think the blue line's solid. I think there are some lapses back there, but in general, the blue line I don't think is going to hold this team back. I think, and Dom from the Athletic, whose last name I won't try to say, it starts with the L. He had a Caps season preview up that was, I think pretty spot on. And how I feel about the team now is that just are the Caps stars as good as other team stars and good enough to carry this team against? And that's my main concern, primarily with it being, I guess Kuzi not knowing what version is going to show up. Right. And then Ovechkin just, what is he? Is he 35 now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
I don't know. I guess I guess when you look at the roster, where you see the concerns, or what are you most concerned about when you look at this roster and how they've performed so far this year?
Well, I think we're probably going to talk about this more going forward, but my concern was that when they brought in Peter Laviolette, he usually kind of hurts teams' offense. Mm-hmm. And my concern was that I thought last year the big problem was kind of the team defense, especially with the forwards, and a little bit the defense. And my worry was that with Laviolette coming in, the team was going to struggle in the regular season in such a stacked division that they maybe wouldn't make the playoffs.
Right.
Just because they're adjusting to a new system. It's an older
Right.
team. They didn't play well in the bubble playoffs. You still have no fans. And that's a lot to kind of adjust to. Then on top of being in a great division, I think their January will literally get them into the playoffs now. But just they got points in every game.
Yeah,
in
they
January
started
where they're playing kind of
or something, right?
Yeah, and they weren't playing. They're playing some pretty weird hockey, and getting some kind of iffy goaltending, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think my concern was really again the forwards a little bit, and just like their age and just not knowing what you're gonna get. And I was also kind of concerned about the D, but I think like Nick Jensen has kind of broken out this season. Justin Schultz looks at home in the system.
Yeah.
Carlson is still. He's kind of a high event guy where he's really getting bringing a lot of offense, but then he's kind of not an elite defender, so there's always issues there. But during the 2018 Stanley Cup run, he was really good, I thought. So
Right.
I don't know. There's just it's a very hard to predict roster.
Yeah, you mentioned one thing that just Laviolette in general that I do like about it is how the defense and especially Schultz, how he looks in the system. Man, I love how active Greg Young is talking about your backdrop. We'll get to that in a minute. I love how active the D are in the offensive zone. Like it's almost just like they have 5 players in the offensive zone, and guys kind of rotate based off of where the puck is and where they need to be. Like there's none of this like, oh, I'm the defenseman, so I need to stay above the top of the circles. Like there have been times like, especially I think it was when Orloff and Jensen were together, who were 2 guys who were pretty active. Like both of them were like below the hash marks, like at the same time. And I love that. Is there anything that stood out to you just about like watching the team play under Laviolette that's, not necessarily like good or bad or just more fun? Anything that stood out though?
Weirdly, they seem more boring to me, even though they're more aggressive. And it seems like they're not shooting as much, even though they're more aggressive. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You're watching it and you're like, wow, Nick Jensen's below the goal line again for like the 8th time in a period. And then, and then they have like 8 shots at the end of the period. Right. And so it's I think that's the thing is that I also think that the system, my worry is that they wouldn't make the playoffs, but I do think this is a better system for the playoffs. So sure. It's one of those things where there's a give or take. It's kind of like with Barry's system too, is his system wasn't super great in the regular season ever, but then in the playoffs, it seemed to work better. I don't know. But those are kind of I've been surprised how little offense they're creating with that much aggression.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of like cycling around the perimeter, like around the boards and center on the boards, and there's a lot of like low to high passes, just looking for point shots. For the amount that the D activate and for the amount of puck movement they seem to get, it doesn't. And I haven't looked at like Micah McCurdy has the heat maps basically. I haven't looked at it in a while, in probably 10 games or something. I don't know how they're looking outside of how my eyes think they look so far, like what the numbers say. But it seems like the shots, for as active as they are, don't come from dangerous areas enough of the time, which, is kind of what you're saying. Like
when they're going, though, it's really humming. It has a rhythm. I think that's one of the things I've noticed is that system really has a rhythm to it where you kind of, I think as they play it more, there's more predictable, there's going to be more predictable outcomes that guys will see in the ice. And you kind of seen that the last 2 weeks where they kind of are anticipating where someone is moving the puck around. But yeah, it's been really interesting, like I don't know. I don't know what to make of Laviolette. What do you make of Laviolette?
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I don't know how to make a judgment on it, right? Like there are those things I've noticed, right? Like the D are more active, and they, they're and different things like that, and how then passive they are. I think on the forecheck relative to other systems the Caps have played. I don't know that I necessarily have a feel enough for like whether I think it's good or bad overall. And maybe that's because like, I don't know, one, the season's just weird. Like it started late. It didn't feel like a real season at first, even watching it. Now it does. And also like, you know, we were missing Kuzi for a handful of games. We're missing Ovi. Orloff was out. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely not going to be the most exciting team to watch, but I think, you know, like you said, there is a certain rhythm to it. And when they're in it, like there's such a good movement and puck movement and flow to their game, like there was last game against Boston, like there was the first period tonight. But yeah, I'm still kind of like withholding total judgment on what I think so far.
Me too. I think Todd will definitely be a better regular season coach though, in terms of record, at least.
So Chris from the comments has a comment to help us out on what we're saying. They're second in high danger shot attempt percentage in 5-on-5 since mid-February. So that's probably like 10 or 15 games. So basically that's, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it's basically just shots from dangerous areas on the ice, the percentage that the Caps get of the overall percentage of those in a game. So if there's like, you know, 20 high danger shots in a game and the Caps have 10 of them, that's a 50% percentage of what Chris has given us there. Greg is complimenting your backdrop. We popped that up for a second. Anybody listening to this afterwards, we're talking about on YouTube, the comments, Greg is saying that he's preemptively sorry they don't have as cool of a backdrop as Ian. Greg is going to come on because he wants to talk about the Florida Panthers next week.
Oh, cool.
Because that is a team that he apparently watches a lot of, and I'm really interested just to know why anybody turns on the Florida Panthers. So he's not going to have a car hood behind him, and Justin agrees with us that they looked good in the first, and then Sebastian here with an important comment that Ravi won't help the Gretzky record chase. Man, I want to know, like, I don't care what lead we're protecting. Anytime the other team pulls the goalie, I want Ovi on the ice. I don't care if we lose the point. So I guess that means I care more about the goals record than another Stanley Cup. Where are you at in that? If you had to pick?
No, on this. So Ovi always wants to score, and so he will become an elite defenseman to score. You know what I mean? Like I think he's actually probably the best defender when he's shooting at an empty net. So it actually is kind of dumb to not have him out there. I would love to see Backstrom, Ovi, Wilson, or I mean that's a good closing crew. You know what I mean?
Just put Ovechkin out there, put 4 guys in the defensive zone, put him at the red line.
Yeah.
Just throw the puck to him. And if it costs you 5 points in the standings, I don't care.
I don't care either. I know. This season is getting depressing, by the way, in terms of, you know, last year I was like, I think he can catch Gretzky. And then now I'm like, nope.
Yeah, he hasn't scored in a while. He had a few chances in close tonight, which Sebastian commented wants to talk about the power play, which I think ties into Ovechkin's goal scoring this season. How many goals does he even have now? I mean, like
I think he has 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just guessing off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was going to say even lower than that, but hey, I'm glad you threw a number out instead of me. What
do you think of the power play? Because I think they've been just unbelievably lucky. I mean, they have an incredible crew on that PP. If you think about all the guys there, I mean, Chara a lot of times isn't on it, and I mean, he's got 100 miles per hour clapper in the back there. I think Ovi is. I think part of the reason why the power play feels weird is because it goes through Ovi, and most teams are just breaking off and doing man on man with Ovi this year, and so they're trying to set up that shot for Ovi, and it's awkward. So they have been scoring, but they're more like broken plays and things like that. So I think that's why people might be a little underwhelmed by it. Right. So and I also think that, you know, I'm not sold on this. Would you still call it basically a 1-3-1? Like how would you?
I mean that's when they
essentially
that's what they want to go to. They don't always, but yeah.
Yeah. So I I'm not sure. I think we've just seen it so much, and it's not humming through Ovechkin that all of us find it a little awkward. That would be the way that I would describe it.
Yeah, I was, and this was just an idea I had as I was watching the game tonight. Maybe it's a terrible idea. Is it I'm trying to think if the handedness is right. I think, but because teams are just basically playing one-on-one on Ovechkin out there on Ovechkin Island, and he eventually ends up down near. He just at that point like goes down near the goal mouth.
Yeah,
and then it's Carlson and Backstrom or Carlson and Vrana kind of playing catch up top. I feel like the guy in Backstrom's position needs to come in further. But what about putting Ovechkin in the Oshie spot for a bit? Are they both? They're the same handedness, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're both righties. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're both righties. Wait, would that be stupid to try for a couple games, dude? Could you imagine him getting passes in that spot and unleashing a shot?
No, he would probably kill somebody. You know what? I feel like there's a lot of things they can do different. One of the things that I really loved, I think it was from whenever the last game was, Wednesday. I think Carlson sent a pass to Ovechkin for a one-timer. And instead of shooting, Ovi did a one-time pass to Tom Wilson in front of the net. And Tom just had the curve of his blade just like a little crooked. But if he would have had it flat, it would have been a tap-in. I think there's a lot of offense that they can create because of this. But I'm like sending Ovi to the net, I'm not sure. It just kind of it makes it claustrophobic in front of the net, and there's a lot of traffic. But I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. Sometimes they do that overlap with Carlson at the top too, and he never scores from the point for whatever reason. So I'm not sure if that's a good rotation either. I feel like there's tweaks that they can make that they don't make, but I shouldn't be complaining because they're at like over 25%. So,
well, you heard it here first. I want to see just for a game Ovi in the Oshie spot, and then maybe, I don't know, put Oshie out in the Ovi spot. But,
you could put Vrana in Ovi's spot because that's what he did in Hershey, and he was incredible there when he was in Hershey.
He's a lefty though, isn't he? Isn't he a lefty?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of.
So maybe that wouldn't work. But on the other,
they've done it before with like they put Orlov in that spot on the second unit. They could do it. I just think but. No, I mean, I like the unit that they have. I actually like it a lot with Vrana out there. I mean, I know Kuzi is kind of a wizard with the puck a bit, but I like that they've stuck with Vrana because I don't know. I like the dynamic he brings to the unit because I think he's a very skilled player like Kuznetsov, but he'll also like pull the trigger sometimes when he needs to.
Exactly.
So I like him better out there. What about you?
I also think that having Vrana on the first power play unit gets him more involved. And I think when he's getting more touches and getting more playing time, he's even better, which is confusing considering he's like one of the leading scorers in the league per minute. Yeah. Because he's only getting like 12 minutes a night. So
right. Yeah. I am always pro more Vrana ice time. So I'll take him on the first unit, the second unit, and the fifth and the 10th unit too,
Since you're a guy that's played way more hockey than I have and actually have done system stuff, can you explain to me what Vrana does that irritates literally every coach that he plays for? Because I don't see it.
I don't, I don't know. A lot of times those are like little things you might not notice unless you're like, you are the coach looking for it, or you are like looking at tape. I can't think of like a specific play this season, but it's a pattern. I think it's more like an NHL coaches thing with young, skilled players, right? I think if you look back, even when look at Burakovsky, look at Kuznetsov when he first came into the league, and if you look around the league, there, I'm sure Greg Young could give us some players on the Panthers who this happened to when they came into the league. I think it's more just coaches don't trust young, skilled players, and when they inevitably make mistakes that they're going to make, it gets them benched, right? Because they're skilled players, they make high risk moves with the puck sometimes, and that it's very noticeable when guys like that make mistakes. So I think it's that kind of thing, and I think it's just kind of like some sort of bias that like is ingrained in the good old boys coaching system of like young skilled players need to earn their keep, and you gotta back check and blah 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 blah, all that stuff.
I think Chris Cirillo has some opinions.
He doesn't hit people, and he says you gotta lay the body.
Gotta lay the lumber.
So yeah, Sebastian says the same thing with William Nylander. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's more like a hockey NHL thing with just young skilled players, and I'm sure there's a kernel of truth in the reason why it happens, but I think a lot of it is just like some bias of that, of like the right way, etc. Like
from my history with covering the team, he's been benched in Hershey. He's been benched by Barry Trotz. He's been benched by Laviolette. I'm not sure if he's been benched. I don't think he was benched by Reardon. But he was benched by the Czech national team. I mean, that's 4 kind of high-profile benchings.
Right.
I just don't know what it is. I almost think that he gets nervous, or maybe he kind of just is in his own world and doesn't, play the system through, like Chris said, lay the body or do certain things that really doesn't really impact the game, but a coach doesn't like it.
Right.
But yeah, his treatment over the years has been really bizarre to me. And usually, like when I see things or hear about it, I can patch it together and be like, oh, that's why. I cannot with Vrana. I've never understood it. He's a good kid too.
Yeah.
He's not like an unlikable guy.
Yeah, and I think, I'm sure, he's kind of like a smaller skilled player, so I'm sure that there's things he does in terms of like not getting his nose dirty or something that can drive coaches crazy. But like, at the end of the day, like if you look at everything, like if you look at shots, if you look at shot attempts, if you look at goals, if you, whatever metric you look at, the team does better with him on the ice than like off the ice, right? So like,
absolutely.
I wish we could get over whatever it is that causes these players to not get like the 18 minutes a night they deserve, and just let them go out there and accept they're going to do some things that you don't like, but in the end, your team's better off with them on the ice.
Yeah, totally.
Chris would like a list. Chris from the comments has requested that Ian give us a list of your unlikable guys. Do you know what he's talking about?
No, but Chris, are you talking about guys that are on the Capitals that we perceive are hated, or just people that me or Pat hate? This is important. This is an important detail.
While we're waiting on his response, I did have one. A fan texted me a question.
Oh,
his name is Peter Haysett. Peter Haysett.
Never heard of that guy.
I think.
Never heard of him.
He said something about planning a party in disco. Ask Ian about it on the live stream.
Some of the things Peter said.
Do you know what he's referring to?
I don't. Okay, so like I'm not completely sure because I mean he did make a joke about having a makeout party after COVID was over.
He did say planning RMNB makeout party in disco. Ask Ian about it. That's what he said. So is that the first, like, once we've got herd immunity or vaccinations and everything?
Sounds like everybody's gonna have herd immunity after our party.
yeah. There you go.
No, I do think that we don't have anything planned, but I do know that like as soon as we can do a party, we want to do a party, and it's going to be fun. I think Peter might become the huggy guy, and I might be the unhuggy guy. I think we've both been changed in that way, but yeah, it's nice. Like I said, is that all 4 of the grandparents in my family got vaccinated this week, so as the real progress is being made, and so that makes me really happy. And we're definitely gonna have a party at some point. I'm also definitely going to the first Capitals game that they have all fans. Like I'm gonna miss. I'm not gonna cover it. I'm just gonna go to that game. Okay.
So first one that's full attendance, like no restrictions.
No BS. Yeah,
I think that'll be next season. I would think.
Hopefully the beginning of next season.
I think that seems plausible at this point. 2 months
Plausible,
ago,
yeah.
I would have said no way, but now it seems like it's at least within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, DC is really stringent, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is really good. We're not Texas, but but yeah. So yeah, no, he was talking about that today, and whenever Peter has a lot of when he has optimism about those things, like he loves parties, he gets a lot of energy from them, and I know how much he loves all the people that read us and share their passion with us on the site. It won't actually be a makeout party, but we can't wait to see you guys and maybe have a drink. So
he will probably call it that though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Make it awkward for me.
The title. It's too bad he couldn't join us to tell us about what he had in mind for the makeout party. But so do you guys have anything else planned other than there will be a party once there can be a party? Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's fair. You know what? No, I think we're kind of just getting by here. I think just speaking for the site, it's been really cool to get going again during the season. It's been it's hard to cover hockey right now and be fun during a pandemic. And so it's the last year has been really interesting. I think the coolest thing, and this is a great example of it and why I wanted to support you, is other than the fact that I love you, Pat, and I said before, is that I love how you need to have your voice out there for baseball and hockey, like all the time, because I love listening to you and hearing your takes, because your takes aren't stupid. They're very good. And I learn a lot from you, but like, yeah, as technology over the last year has changed, like in 10 years, like how it would normally take in 10 years, where, people were kind of doing streaming before. Now it's like something you got to do. And it's something that I've been working on. We just kind of got onto Twitch a week ago, and we're starting to build up to do a couple shows and things like that every now and then. But yeah, the technology and everything over the last year and how people consume sports has changed so much. It's just like how you reach people is a lot different now. And I think that's one of the best parts about doing this. And I know Peter would definitely agree, is that like, if you don't change, if you don't adapt, if you don't try new things, you don't figure it out, you get left behind, and you deserve to be left behind. And that's been kind of the most interesting part of this. And I really like streaming and like even doing this. I think it's really, really honest, interesting conversation that where hardcore followers, hardcore fans can really get maybe a little bit more information or really get a little bit more inside our brains and really be a part of the conversation. And so that it's really cool. Sorry to get all nerdy on you. But
no, and I think one thing that's been cool is like, I think with the bubble, like I was texting earlier, I had trouble getting into it all. Like I hardly, I wouldn't say hardly watched. I just didn't feel like I was watching real hockey. It just felt like I had no connection to it. Like if I missed games, I didn't really care. Like now it's nice to see, and it's nice to like be on Twitter and like an RMNB like pregame pops up. I'm like, oh yeah, the Caps put it. Like it feels like at least normal. There was one time, I think it was this season and not the bubble, where like I don't really use Facebook anymore. But my wife said something to me about the Caps, and she's not a Caps fan really at all. Like, I mean, she's
same here.
Just not her thing. And she said something to me. I don't know. It's like, where did you hear that? She's like, oh, Russian Machine on Facebook. It's like, oh, okay. I was like, cool. So things are a little normal at least. Like hockey news is getting to people through Russian Machine on Facebook. So
yeah, I told you this earlier today too. Is that just like hockey isn't important at all? Like I knew it was frivolous before, but like it's a new level of frivolous. Like I think for some people there is this great normalization of before, where you can go back to your routine, you can support the team that you love, you can get lost in that, have fun, feel strongly about that certain play or that certain decision, and it gives you this outlet. But like there is just this level of don't give a fuck at all-ness that just permeates through everything now. And I understand, I remember, like, I am honestly, just like as a creator, I can't believe I made it through the year without needing like multiple week breaks, like mental breaks, because it's also hard. It was hard to write at times, like maybe during the summer or off season, whatever the off season was, where there's just nothing. Like I remember I was working with Miranda. She was helping us with Instagram for a while, and she had a friend that was Russian, and Ilya Samsonov did like a 2-hour Instagram live, and for like 4 hours we were talking back and forth, trying to get certain parts translated to do a post, and it was just not interesting at all, and I was just so passionate about it, and I just looking at it now, I'm like, oh, thank God I had that drive, because. So.
And I think the one big news item that maybe we didn't talk about from this week, I don't want to miss it, is Peter's new album came out. Did you listen to it yet? Did you listen to it? Peter Hassett's new album, Late Night Delivery.
Yes. So Peter, so one of the things with me and Peter is that one of the reasons how I got kind of back in touch with him, and I think we ended up starting the site, was that I was friends with two of his kind of like best friends, Colin Holder and Steve Kern, and Colin was in his band back in the day called Verbatim, and I used to go to his shows. I would take dates to his shows back when I was like, I don't know, like 20, 21, and like I always like, wow, this guy is literally the coolest person I've ever met in my life. Lead singer, great musician.
Let's not get carried away.
Has this incredible blog. What was it, on LiveJournal? But I would always read them, and it was just amazing how he could talk about anything, and it would just open your mind. I've used this example to you in the past. It's like a good Law and Order SVU episode where you're not sure what to think at the end, but your mind kind of changes after you read what he wrote. And the whole point is that Peter is one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. And his new album is really good, and it's a great listen, and everybody should listen to it if they can. But another interesting thing is that in his final track, he has Sedata, I hope I said it right, who is a rapper. His real name is Brent Aarons, and he used to ride the bus with me. But this guy is one of the best rappers, I think, in the world right now. And so the last song has that rapping, and then Peter closes it. And so Peter, not a rapper, and he just comes in at the end, and it's just fire. It's so good. I think it kind of encapsulated everything that I think about Peter, is that whenever he does anything, it's like a 9 out of 10. It's always an A. He's just got so much talent in his body. I almost hate him for it, because everything I have to do, I have to work very, very hard for to be like D-. So,
well, I won't say it too oddly because I think he's probably listening, but I agree with most of what you're saying. No, but yeah, the new Late Night Delivery album is great. I listened to it on a couple of my lunchtime walks this week, and it was good. I've given it 2 listens. But before we go, are there any final Caps topics we haven't touched on? Anything we haven't talked about that you wanted to get to on the team, or anything about the blog?
I think really you should just roast me for anything I've done in the past.
No, there's only one Russia Machine person that I roast, and he's not here tonight. So.
I think blog wise, like I said, it's been really fun to get back to normal, and I don't know. It's just like even doing this has been very fun. And the season has been going decently well. So yeah, I don't know if I have much to add. I'm just looking forward to the season keeping going, and maybe there's some more interesting storylines that come through.
And hopefully next time, though, maybe we can do this again, and they'll have played like a game that's actually worth talking about.
Yeah, that too.
That would be cool.
Too. Yeah, 3-2 game. A 3-2 game where something interesting happened that Lavi did that made them win or something.
And one of my favorite parts of tonight is that Chris Cerullo is Chris from the comments again. He's back in the comments. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for doing this. This was fun.
Absolutely.
we'll hop off here. All of you know where to find Ian at Russian Machine Never Breaks and on Twitter, because you all know. But more hockey content will be coming on this channel, so subscribe if you want. And hopefully next time the Caps will give us a better game to talk about. But all right, this is when we say goodbye. Bye, Ian.
Bye.